perhaps one of the greatest takeaways people have that both changes organizations, customer experience, and lives of people is this simple concept called the mood elevator. I'm pretty excited about it because I'm just completing a book called Up the Mood Elevator, Living Life at Your Best. So hopefully many people see that sometime, but it's been a passion in my life. It's affected and changed my life, enriched my life. It's a fairly simple concept in the notion that we all live life along this thing we call the mood elevator. It's just different states of feeling we have, from gratitude at the top, resourcefulness, creativity, down through impatience, irritation, bother, worry, anger, depression. So every moment of every day, we're in one of those kinds of states. And people kind of take that for granted. But what if you could learn to push a button that would help you move in the mood elevator? So part of our belief is we can help people spend more time on the higher floors of the mood elevator and do less damage to themselves and others when they're in the lower floors. And learning that is very life enriching, but just imagine what it does to customer service in terms of a retailer, or it does to the team dynamics if people are operating with one another, where they're listening better, being more respectful versus judging and being irritated and bothered with each other. It makes an enormous difference. It came into the life of Senn Delaney probably 15 years ago. We'd always believed or thought we'd found there were some essential values in healthy people and organizations. After working the first 10 years trying different concepts and modules, we found, what seemed to stick everywhere around the world was things like accountability, collaboration, openness to change, innovation, trust, respect, positive spirit. And so we have elements of the session that teach that. What we began to discover was that when people are at the top of their game, you just think of those times when you're at your very best, you are automatically more accountable, collaborative, creative, open to ideas. It's just your natural state when you're at your best. So the idea of teaching people to live a healthy set of values by having them merely connect, we believe, to the best of who they already are, is the promise in the mood elevator. And the fact is, there are many ways we can affect it, both in organizations and within ourselves. So it's a wonderful concept. Once people get a hold of it, they seem to hang on to it for life, or so far that's been the case. And we think it is also what sets us apart from others, our ability to teach that. And there's this concept called unhealthy normal. We're actually sitting here in an office building in Long Beach, and there's a freeway right outside the window. When I first moved in here, I said to myself, oh my gosh, how can I get in again with all that noise? If you ask me today, I can't hear it. Well, we get the same way with our own behaviors. We don't notice when we start to become more impatient, start to become more easily irritated and bothered. That becomes like we get off the mood elevator and move in and furnish that floor. So we have to learn to have those things become a loud bell, to notice when you're worrying, to notice when you're anxious. Because unless you can notice, you can't do anything about it. So teaching people to be aware of and pay attention to where they are, and they do that by noticing their feelings. And so that's one of the clues. Most people think that their moods come from the outside. Somebody did something, something happened, someone said something about them. But if you think about it, if you've ever been in a bad mood, life didn't look good, you got a good night's sleep, woke up the next day, everything looked fine, what changed? Nothing really changed. You put two people in the same situation and a new implementation of a system. One person's excited, the other one's worried and concerned. So where does all that come from? It really comes from our thinking. So moods are created by our thought. And worried thinking creates worried feelings. Grateful thinking creates grateful feelings. And so we ourselves are making our own movie each and every moment of our life. And that movie we're making through our thought. So the role of thought plays a big part in what we teach. Because our thinking creates our moods, but our thinking also creates our behaviors. Because if I've been trained all my life in sports, for me to win, you have to lose. And now we're in business, that win-lose belief or thought system I have will come out as we begin to work on budgets, begin to work on implementing things. If my belief is if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all, then I won't coach you, even though you may be doing something inappropriate, something that may have been harming you because of that belief. So really getting an understanding of the role of thought in terms of how it affects our behaviors, the role of thought in terms of how it affects our mood, is very liberating, very powerful, and really makes a big difference in the lives of people and organizations.